Back with Grand Tactician, Civil War, Union Campaign. As mentioned at the end of the last episode, pushed forward in western Tennessee on the Army of West Tennessee. And they were up there north of Memphis. They retreated. And they retreated all the way back down to Memphis, past Fort Pillow. So on the campaign map off camera, brought the Ironclad Squadron down from Cairo, and they are currently battering Fort Pillow now. Actually, this Confederate army first pushed back, retreated to Fort Pillow. Ironclads came, started beating up on the fort. They retreated again via the river and actually got fired on by the Ironclads. Came down the river to Memphis, pushed Grant's army of the Tennessee to Memphis, and here we engaged. So, there are two corps now. At one point it was just Fry, but there is another corps in the Army of West Tennessee, and I believe they are both on the field now. Whereas we just have the lead corps, Rowley's First Corps. Here's kind of the view of the two sides. Overall, we've got right now significantly fewer men on the field. Confederacy has about 50,000, we've got about 30,000, and we're the attacking force. So, that's not great. We have far more men overall, but the other corps hasn't made it to the other two corps have not made it to the field. Schenck's Corps will probably come on tomorrow, but Lyon's Third Corps was way across the Tennessee River, a long way away, and I believe they've got Second Corps will be here pretty quickly, 5 hours. So they'll get here just after nightfall, and if it goes into the second day, and we're already at 4:30 in the afternoon, so it probably will. But Lyon's Corps, Third Corps, they're still well over 2 days away, so they're not going to be a part of this battle. Gave us the Centerville map. I don't know exactly where, there's more than one Centerville in the world. so I don't know exactly where this Centerville is in the real world. The first thing I think of is Centerville, Virginia, not that far from Manassas, but I don't think this is the same Centerville. But it's a fairly open map. There was only one objective. The Confederates hold it. It's right here, Stone Bridge. So there's a number of different routes that the Confederates could have come from, but here is where we found them. We just have a couple of roads up here in the northeast. So Second Corps could come via either one of these two. Rowley's Corps spawned here. Actually, I think he spawned here, but I deployed them this morning, right in this area. And we came straight down the Centerville Pike. Cavalry in the lead. Found the Confederates. Spent most of the day marching up the infantry divisions. And we're just now deploying into line, and engagements have started. I stumbled across a couple of units here, and shooting started before I started recording because I didn't expect them to be there. Or I just hadn't seen them yet. Let me get this oriented to our view. Yeah, I was prepping who is this? I think it's McClernand's division over here on the Confederate left, and he ran into a couple of Confederate units here. So there's a little bit of shooting going on right here. But the battle hasn't really begun in earnest. Even though they hold the objective and have far more troop strength at the moment, it's already trending our way, primarily, I think, because we have significantly higher morale than the Confederate troops because of the global overall army morale. Draftees on their side, we don't have draftees. They just have the one little parapet entrenchment here in front. That's all we've seen, and I think we've been close enough to have seen if they would have any more. This is all they built, and there's nobody in them visible anyway, except for this one wavering artillery unit. With kind of the way that the AI tends to behave, there may not be any infantry that man this trench line, which would be fine with me. Anyway, let's get the clock moving here. This cavalry brigade is already broken. Let's get this battery unlimbered here. And I think there's another. Let's move this battery up a little bit. May not be able to see through those trees anyway. Okay, that artillery unit has broken. I'm not sure if these guys are on long range or not. There's an order going to them to go to long range, I think. Oh, what have we here? Just going to kind of scooch the cavalry over a little bit to give Banks's division a little bit more room to move in here. I think these guys are detached. Yes. Let's move this battery up to about, you ought to have fine line of sight there. Oh, let's unlimber these guys. Got a little feud symbol going on here, but I think, as I mentioned in the first episode of the series, yeah, I've got feuds turned off. Just willing to put up with the order delays and stuff, but that was just a bridge too far. Okay, I don't know if this artillery is going to be able to see anything, but let's unlimber him and see if he gets shots. Move this reserve brigade over this way to face the this cavalry brigade on our flank. This brigade's facing just a little bit, so they lose their flanking debuff. You know, now he's getting it from the other direction, I think. Well, they've got to change facing some more. This is the more immediate threat. Unlimber these guys. Oh, they're howitzers. Great field, great vision, but not much range. I'm going to have to move them up some more. Once Bank starts advancing, I'm not going to throw him out there by himself. All these troops, Raleigh did fight, he did some fort sieging, but I believe this is the first field battle that any of these units have conducted. But the sieges do count for combat experience, so none of them have the first combat debuff, but they're not nearly as experienced as all of the brigades in the Army of the Potomac. Okay, I think we've just about gotten this cavalry driven off. Haven't taken that many casualties. Start moving Dix's 2nd Division. Kind of right in between these two artillery. There is some infantry in the entrenchments now. Corps commander moved up a little bit closer. And the army commander. Cav Brigade is doing a good job of making my brigades burn through all their ammo. Still in fine shape. Wool is taking just a tiny bit of lost resilience. Or resilience loss, I guess. There, okay. That brigade is broken. And we have Johnny Rebs advancing out of their defensive position. Okay. Oh. I think I added some batteries after the fort sieges. So this is the first combat for these organic batteries attached directly to the infantry divisions, and he's not getting any LOS. Just a little bit over. No, that worked. Ease this brigade up just a little bit so that artillery doesn't get in trouble. Let's have Wolf throw some skirms out. Oh, he can't. This cap is too close, I guess. No? There they go. Have that howitzer battery limber up and move them over to this side. Something like that. Greg up right behind Wool. So that when Wool gets low on ammo, he can fall back through Greg's ranks. Fresh brigades in front. That's my idea, anyway. Okay, I'm going to have this artillery limber up and move them a little bit. I think it's time for Banks to move forward. About like... something like that. If I can get this battery a little bit better able to fire. Wool's down to 39 rounds per man. Back him out now. For some reason it's seeing that as an advance. McClernand killed. Wool's gotten his facing wrong somehow. back him out of there. That's just a skirm unit falling back. Move a little faster, Banks. You guys up here. How these two brigades doing? I think they're doing all right. Fuel is doing okay. I think Greg's brigade is going to start taking the brunt of the fire. These brigades are taking a morale hit from McClernand getting shot. Get a battery right here in between for canister fire. Okay on the casualties. I'm a little worried about this one. Let's get Wolf's not out of ammo yet. It's going to get him over this way in case he's needed on the flank. Move this reserve brigade over toward this flank. About like that. Let's move this artillery here. Some limbered, some not, apparently. Start moving this cavalry over. But oh, that's this attachment, I think. Yeah. All right. Pull those skirms in. Craig still has more than 40 rounds a man. It's facing so that you can get some fire here on Doles. I'm not going to do that. I don't want to be in the way of these two batteries' fire. Well, I thought they had feuds turned off. Maybe that's why these guys are... Oh, end of the day. Okay. Okay, our other core is on the field now. Are they close enough to... Where are they coming in? Yeah, they're way up here. This battle will be over by the time they march down Telegraph Road. I think. I hope. Okay. I'm just going to edit out the redeployment of the forces here. Come back once I get these brigades sort of reoriented. Okay. So I've got the redeployment done. First things first. The other corps has come onto the field. They're on this road. I got them in march order. They'll be coming down Telegraph Road to this position. I don't know if they're going to get there in time to do anything. Maybe the cavalry might. As far as Rowley's corps, had just enough engineering points to throw up some breastworks along in here, since the Confederates seem content to attack. This division's still over here on the right. Wool's brigade, broken cohesion. His morale is fine. He just needs to hang out here and kind of reorganize. The other two brigades up here on the breastworks with the division's artillery here, Dix's division here, and I've got both Dix's and Banks's two artillery batteries right here, hopefully within canister range. I've set them just back of the breastwork line. And then Banks's division here, they were not heavily engaged yesterday. His rightmost brigade also has some breastworks right here in front of the Confederates. And then the idea here is that the rest of Banks's division, these two infantry brigades and the Corps' cav, will kind of swing in here like a door on the Confederate right across this open area. And then I'm hoping that the Corps artillery back here with their rifled guns, these are 3-inch ordnance rifles and a battery of 14-pound James rifles, we'll be able to get some longer distance shots. Maybe I ought to have them bombard right in here in these woods. That might be a good idea. Anyway, with that, we'll get the clock rolling. And it may turn out that the Confederates have redeployed too. This is where they were at the end of the day yesterday. Sometimes they move, sometimes they don't. No, they did move back. Okay. So the breastworks turned out to be futile. Okay. Well, that makes for a different situation there. They put up some extra trenches too, it looks like. Alright, well, let's get Schenk's Corps moving. Let's get this. Let's get his cavalry moving first. Let's move him up to about here. Make sure there's not anything in the way of the infantry. Schenk himself needs to Schenk himself needs to move up. We'll put him up here. I don't know if I want to move across this big open area into those trenches. Let me move this cavalry back a little bit. Let's go ahead and have all these guys. Oh, they're unlimbered. Matter of fact, how about Artie? If I can find a spot in here to that looks like a fine spot to bombard with rifled artillery. Got men laying down under the bombardment.
Why does that battery only have 3 guns? 33. They must have gotten hit with a bunch of volunteers going home. Will's regaining his cohesion. Double checking, making sure those 2 brigades were not under artillery fire. They're not. Well, I thought that cavalry would get out ahead of the infantry. They didn't. They just ran right into that clogged road. Their scouts are out in front, though. The cavalry scouts. They get out pretty far ahead of the parent brigade. Cav brigade that was trying to flank us it's broken and run off. As soon as Will's in position, I'm just going to have him throw out some skirmishers to take care of that artillery. Artillery limbered up. Well, that is apparently an artillery battalion without any guns. Okay. Well, if that's the case, Looks like the Rebs are retreating. Let's move this cavalry back up and get some eyes. Yeah, they are. That might be a response to their knowledge that this other corps is on the field. Okay, I'm going to advance Banks' division since they haven't had much combat yet. I'll throw out skirm. He's got skirms out. Okay. Let's move Wool up to the edge of the creek. Nope, nope. Once you give them a bombardment order, it looks like you need to tell them to do something else first. You can't just switch a bombardment target, you know, from bombardment to bombardment. Just move the cavalry right up in there. I might regret that. There may not be anything to shoot at by the time they get up there. Where is the other cavalry brigade? Apparently still back here. Okay, now let's try it. Okay. Turn that bombardment off because the cavalry are about to go into that circle. Just give them a fire at will. I don't think they have anything to see to shoot at, but cavalry's the only thing that's got speed to do anything at this point. Where is this other cavalry brigade? Get up here. Move forward. Maybe that'll get it moving. Sherman still hasn't gotten his order to move up, I guess. I don't think we're gonna make the major victory. Unless some of these units get over here and get some shots. Could happen. No, I don't want you on. There you go. Ah. Okay, well, Battle of Memphis. 9,500 Confederate casualties, lost a lot of cav, actually lost more cav than infantry, and about 2/3 of their guns. So as soon as they back out of this, they should be retreating from Memphis, and our guys
Our corps should already be close enough to capture that city. Historical flavor, the first Thanksgiving. Or the first end of November Thanksgiving. Well, no, October 3rd. I don't know what that means. There was a Thanksgiving. There's our ironclads working on Fort Pillow up here. Should be in their favor. The garrison's already broken. Conditions coming down. Fort firepower is coming down. That won't last too much longer, I don't think. Hopefully I don't lose another ironclad during that. Okay, they've retreated across the river. Bunch of units routed. Now we're just gonna move on in. Oh yeah, we're already capturing the city. Meanwhile, where is Third Corps? Your supply situation's a little bit better. I am going to have Third Corps just move right on into Corinth right now. And then let's get Second Corps to just kind of take up a middle position here between the two others at Bolivar. And we'll move Grant's HQ up to the same spot. Hopefully, is there anything in this Confederate depot? There's a little bit of provisions there. It's not completely empty. May have to do another round of... Yeah, that depot's pretty much empty of food. May have to do another round of just sitting and letting the logistics catch up over here. Okay, our next offensive. All the Appalachian Corps seem to be in good shape for supply. We're going to run these right down the valley into Chattanooga for the next push.
Sherman's having supply problems again, of course. The other 3 corps in the Army of Potomac are all right. I'm going to ease Sherman back just far enough where he can draw from that depot as well. He shouldn't have to fall back very far. And how is Smith doing? Well, it's going to have to do. Let's move Smith right on into Wilmington. He's actually on low food. Hope he doesn't get in trouble with that fort. Okay. So Smith has Fort Fisher under siege. Way in his favor. Very much so. So that might be pretty quick. And once that fort is down, he should start capturing Wilmington. Let's see how we're doing here on the morale. Getting very close. We're at 27 national morale for the Confederacy. The capture of Wilmington, the successful siege of Fort Fisher plus the capture of Wilmington will probably do it. May not even have to fight another battle. I'm going to extend this episode just a little bit longer for that reason. Is this over with? No. Oh, it's because I have it paused. Okay, Fort Fisher done. Why aren't we capturing Wilmington? Seems like we would be. Certainly close enough to. Ah, there we go, yeah. Capturing 5%. Just going a little slower because this isn't that large a force. Smith gets another perk. He may not need another perk. Has Grant captured Corinthia? Corinthia yet? Yes, he has. And okay, Lion's good for supply. Are you? War is over. Capture of Wilmington did it. Between the battle, the capture of Memphis, the destruction of Fort Fisher, and the capture of Wilmington, the Confederacy is thrown in the towel. there you have it. Finished with our morale still above 92 in the north. Still high support. Army morale, pretty self-explanatory. Confederacy still had 350,000 men in uniform. Purportedly a navy almost as large as ours. I'm still a little, I guess I'm never going to find out now. But I'm still wondering where the heck all these ships were. They didn't do much with them. Lopsided on experience. Not that lopsided on experience. You get experience when you lose too. So we had more, but they had a lot. Lopsided on the battles, of course. Almost 175,000 casualties over the course of the war for the Confederacy. A little over 60,000 for the Union. For a total of, what would that be? About 230, just say 240,000 combined. And the war lasting just a little over 2 years instead of 4. If only the real thing had been something like that, that would have been better. The blockade siphoned off a total of 53 million from the Confederacy. That's cumulative, though. And you consider this is over 2 years and the size of the budgets. These trade warfare numbers really aren't all that enormous. I don't know if we ever even finished that last policy I was working on. We did not. Didn't get to finish military. Less than 2 days until Military 3 would have kicked in. So I think a couple of things that I was doing that I had never done before, you know, I really tried to go out of my way to see what navies could do against forts. And basically my takeaway was you can do it. You can build strong squadrons that can take a fort down. The time and resources required for those and their effectiveness is such that I'm not sure it's cost effective to do that. You know, maybe I still need to experiment more with that, but you know, if you send 8 ironclads up against a fort and they beat it down to 0, but you lose 2 or 3 ironclads along the way, they took a long time to build and took a lot of iron and timber, so I don't know if that's a good trade or not. I never did get the I had just finished within the past couple of weeks of game time these 8 ironclad frigates, which I think are the most powerful ships in the game, basically the mid-19th century rough equivalent to dreadnought battleships 50 years later, and never got a chance to get them into action. Never did engage either of these armies. Kind of chased this one around a little bit. Never wanted to engage. But didn't have to run down here into Chattanooga. This, you know, I mentioned earlier, I've mentioned a couple times that I had been fairly static with Grant's Army of the Tennessee up in this area, which I was. But, he's covering a large area, had Confederate armies on either end. And these Confederate armies, three of them, Army of West Tennessee, Army of Mississippi, and the Army of Tennessee, they were extremely passive the entire game. Army of Tennessee was first spotted here at Chattanooga, never moved once. Army of Mississippi tried to run up into Kentucky, then got chased back down to here, would not engage. So yeah, Grant didn't do much, but didn't have to do much, I guess, until right here at the end, pushing in here on Memphis. I guess theoretically, I guess this bombardment was still going on when the war ended. And that is a big contrast to earlier in the... And oh, by the way, like those armies, reached a point where the Army of Northern Virginia and the Army of North Carolina got pretty passive over here. Once we took Richmond and Petersburg and had this line here from Stanton down through Richmond and Petersburg to Norfolk, once on the James, these armies became pretty passive as well. They just held position. We'd attack them, there'd be a battle, they would retreat, we'd do it again. So all that stands in pretty stark contrast to earlier in the campaign when there were Confederate forces kind of trying to move around the flanks and move in the valley and cross the Potomac and come at Washington from the south. Early in the campaign, the AI was pretty active on the campaign map, and it was like a little bit of whack-a-mole trying to address their moves. But then it reached a point where that just kind of stopped. And I don't know if that's because the morale, the supply, and the financial situation just got to a point where the Confederacy just didn't make those moves anymore because they didn't have the readiness maybe to do it. Anyway, that's the end of the campaign. Hope you enjoyed it. If you did, throw some likes on the video, maybe some of the earlier ones as well. See if there's any appetite for another one at some point in the future. Either way, thank you very much for watching.